Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of Running Stories. For some of us, running an ultra is something beyond our powers, and there we have people like Paula who prove us that everything is possible. So you just need practice, some help from the Mother Nature, because I do think you need some, and a constant, again, practice and a constant struggle to work on your dream. So Paula, our guest today and our colleague, is a mother of two, a runner, and a QA engineer. And well, she is not at her first ultra, but Rodopi challenge is her latest one. It happened on April 22nd. It had 82 kilometers. She did it in almost 10 hours, and she placed herself on the first place, the female category, and the third position on the open one. But yeah, enough with this boring intro. Let's run the questions. So if everything is okay with you as well, I have how many questions? I have 5 questions, and after that, if you have other curiosities, you can ask. So Paula, how did you start running?
Hello all. So I initially started running somewhere in 2009. Actually, it was a mix between hiking and running because I started hiking first. And then the friends that I was going on the mountains with were going to some short races, like 3 and 5 kilometers. And I went with them and I discovered that I liked that. And I think 1 year after, so 2009 and 10, I mostly ran 3 and 5 kilometers. Sometimes they were on a dirty road, sometimes on forest path, but not more than this. Some friends were going on a new area in Romania where I did not go before, so the Cernei Mountains. So I wanted to go there and explore the mountains. Initially, I said I will go and do some hikes, but getting there, they were running. There was a race there. And getting there, I liked the atmosphere a lot, the vibe that I felt there. And I said, okay, wait, I do want to come here and I want to run this race. There were actually 3 options that I could pick. So there was a 10K, there was a half marathon, a 21K, and there was a marathon, a bit more than a marathon actually, with lots of elevation of 46 kilometers. And I was just sitting there with the paper trying to pick which one I want to do. I was staying just there, and I asked a friend because I couldn't decide what should I do. And he looked at me and he said, well, pick the 46. We did not drive from Bucharest to here, so you can run a 10 kilometers. And because I was unexperienced and I didn't know what that meant, I picked the 46, and it was painful. I managed to finish in almost 9 hours, 8 hours and 40 minutes, almost walking on just one of my feet because the other one was not good anymore. And it was very tough. It was lots of rain. I didn't have proper clothes. I had cotton clothes and cotton socks that caused like huge blisters on my feet. But I managed to finish it, and passing the finish line, like in lots of pain, I said, I want to do this again. And that's how it actually started for me.
Oh my God! So your first race was a 46 race.
Yes. I would not recommend this to anyone. No, don't do this. Don't do like I did. Just take it easy, progressive, but not to try with the marathon on first time. But yeah, that's how it started.
Okay, so I love the fact that you answered to my second question, why you started. Why did you why you started running? Because of friends. I think this is the answer here.
Yes.
Right. Now, because we are talking about the Rodopi challenge, why this one? Why running an ultra and why now?
Actually, there is like lots of reasons behind it. Before having the kids, I used to do ultras. And in 2015, so my son was born in 2016. In 2016, 15, before 1 year before he was born, I went and enrolled in 100 miles. I had some races of 100 kilometers finished, and I wanted to do 100 miles. That was on my list. And I was well trained. It was okay. But I had the misfortune of getting sick like a week before the race. And I had high fevers and a cough. But I went there and I started running, and I managed to do 129 kilometers, and I felt bad. I was very sick, so I stopped. And that was very hard for me. It somehow crushed me. They have a very interesting thing at the finish line. So you get there and people are waiting for you at any finish line, but they have a very long rope with lots of bells, and it's a symbol. You just go there and ring the bells. And I got there, so I abandoned at kilometer 129. And when I got to the finish line with the car, because they took me there with the car, and I was seeing other people finishing in like 40 hours, more than 40 hours, I just cried there, just sitting there. And I said, like, I didn't get to ring those bells. So yeah, the reason I'm training now is to go and ring those bells.
Aha, okay. So this one, the Rodopi challenge, is actually part of your training.
Um, it's actually a qualification race, and
Mm.
I picked this one now because I have another one, a one that I finished in 2015 and 100 kilometers in July, on 1st of July. But for when I wanted to register in January this year, I was going there just putting my name and stuff, and realized that I need to have there is a requirement that you need to have a race that it's at least 80 kilometers that you finished in the past 3 years. And well, I didn't have. So, and then after that, I looked and I said, okay, I need an 80 kilometers. Where do I do this? And I had several options because there is also Istria and other stuff, but other races. But I picked this one because it's in the area, exactly in the area where the 100-mile will be in late September. And I said that I will go finish this race, have the qualification race for the one on 1st July, and in the same time, just go and check a bit the path, because it will be the 80 kilometers that I did now. It will be apart from the 178 that will be late September. So it was
Smart,
actually two things. Yeah,
smart. Okay. So it's a master plan behind.
somehow. Yeah.
Since you were discussing about the pet, how was the pet? How was the challenge?
This year it was quite difficult, and it was a challenge because in that area this spring it rained a lot, and the week before the race there were like rain every day. It was raining every day, and the path was literally a river most times. So
Hmm.
except in the cases where we had like 1 kilometer of dirty road that was with some rocks, other than that it was just walking, running through a small stream with mud, wet rocks and such. um, it was very interesting to see that even I saw your message. Um, in summer and in autumn in that area, there are some small streams, so not that big, but now they were like huge, probably because from snow melting and rains. And only some of them had bridges. The others were you're getting there, you're seeing the path on the other side, and like, okay, go to the river up to your knees to the water and go on the other side. But it was interesting. Lots of mud, yeah, a lot. And the last 2 hours of the race, I was, I think, kilometer 62, when it started raining, because it wasn't rain, just like a muddy path, but initially with some hail and then just rain to the finish line. Lots of rain.
Okay, so this was the most important challenge, like let's say
The rain?
the rain, the water, and
Yes, I mean, it made the path more difficult than usual. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What have you learned from this run me a river challenge?
I tested actually some things that because well, we're all different, and in long races it matters a lot how we approached eating part, so eating food, drinking liquids, and because even if you are well trained, when you approach such long distance, if something goes wrong with and you're not able to eat or drink, it's not okay. So I know I wanted to test some options of what I can eat based on what I know that my stomach likes, and I am quite happy that it worked well. So it was a success, I would say. I didn't have any cramps or just feeling bad on my stomach, or I don't know, bloating or other stuff that can happen. So that's a win, and I will use this for the next long races that I have.
Yeah.
And another thing was that I planned not to stop. So they have some checkpoints on the way where you can get like food and water and other stuff. My goal was to stay as little as possible. And I looked at the end time. I managed to have a downtime of only like 15 minutes, which was great. So I only stopped to take water and I left. So that was it. And I ate while running or slowly walking for like 500 meters after a checkpoint or what I needed. And yeah, that was good.
Paula, how are you preparing for this kind of races? Well, there are many levels, like mentally, physically. What's your mantra? What's your habit? What's your ritual?
So I started preparing more after last year's. I did a marathon in July. It's we went together actually. I don't know if you were, but some colleagues were at the Predal Forest Race. And I struggled a lot. Then I realized that I didn't have the cardio enough to run. By the I don't know, I reached kilometer 30. It was very hard for me to run like flat or small inclines, small uphills. And I knew that I could do it better. And that was like a clicking point. I said, I don't want to feel this way. So I started doing more training, like speed intervals. And at least for me, I don't know if it applies for everybody. The secret is in like add quality, not quantity. So you don't train for running ultra marathons or even marathons by running an insane amount of hours. It's about doing it 3 or maybe 4 times a week, and that's it. Paying attention to recovery, and it helps you on the long way more if you run, for example, like 1 hour. You have a 1 hour. Training session, but in this 1 hour, you start doing some intensities, like some intervals, some fartlek stuff, just to get your heart rate up, rather than just going and running like 3-4 hours. That's just you just get tired. It doesn't help you. Yeah.
Okay. Um, well, since you talked a bit about how are you preparing for this kind of challenges, how are you recovering? What are you doing
Uh,
this week, for instance, after the Rodopi challenge?
So this week, actually on Sunday, it was a very hard day because we were in the car all day. That was not, that's not a good thing to do after a race, but well, that was it. So it was like a 10-hour race, but a 12-hour road in the car. So yeah. Um, I did so on Monday I did 1 hour cycling, indoor cycling. Tuesday the same, and stretching, like 15 minutes stretching, evenings or in the morning when I have a bit of time. And yesterday I did like a small run, easy pace, like a 10 kilometers, 1 hour, and that's it this week. And today nothing. I mean, maybe some stretching. And I will have like 2 long runs in the weekend. Long runs means probably 20 kilometers, between 20 and 30. And that's it.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. But that's it. Well, my last question was what's next, but you already answered. Uh, what's next? The challenge that you have in September this year.
Yeah, that would be like on the bit longer term. What's next on a shorter term is the Brasov Marathon. I think lots of us are going. And then Eco Marathon. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
taking them as longer runs, training ones, something like this, since they are there. And then it will be the 1st of July, 110K. And then the one at the end of September, yes.
Cool. So, people, if you have questions, just take advantage now and ask them. So okay, Vlad has one. Marathon or ultra for Brasov, for Brasov Marathon.
Actually, yeah, I would like to do the ultra, but I'm not going to do it because the 1 week after, I mean, I checked the route. It's a very nice one, but I'm not going to do it because 1 week after Brasov Marathon, it's Eco Marathon, in which I want to see how much better I can do compared to 2015. So I'm just doing the half marathon, and I will try not to do a very, very good time because I want to be not that tired for eco marathon. So yeah.
Okay. Well, since Vlad is asking about the ultra, we have Florin here who is going to participate to the Brasov Marathon ultra category. So maybe next time we'll have a talk with Florin and see his experience.
That will be they did a very interesting stuff with the path on the ultra. I would like to do that, but it's too close on the other one, so no.
Oh yeah. All right. Petra has a question. Did you have any major pains or injuries? And if so, how did you treat them?
Actually, yes, but not after this ultra. Somewhere in at the end of February or beginning of March this year, I started having some issues with some shin splints. Hardly I discovered that is due to some shoes and lots of asphalt that I did. So now I'm just avoiding as much as I can. I changed the shoes and I'm running as little as possible on asphalt because it doesn't work for me. I don't like it. It's too much shock, and apparently my feet don't like that. How do I treat it? Lots of stretching and some massage. Uh, I don't have like hip pain. No, I never had that.
Mm-hmm. Petra, we hope I hope that Paula answered to your question. Okay, the next one. How often do you eat during the race?
So on this 80-kilometer one, I tried to keep like a rule, even if I wasn't hungry or I didn't feel like eating then. I tried eating every 45, 50 minutes. Don't imagine that I was eating like a lot. What I had with me during the race, it was I had some boiled rice with salt, lots of salt actually. I just had some small bags. I had three small bags that I had in several places because they had some drop bags. And I was trying to eat at each 45, 50 minutes, like something small, either a bit of rice, or some soft fruit. I had some with me, or a gel. I use that too, and drinking water. And yeah, basically every 45, 50, or an hour. That was the most that I tried just eating something.
Next question. So Dragos wants to know if you have a trainer.
Yes.
And if you think it's worth having one.
Yes, I do actually. I started having one after that race, Predal forest race after the marathon. I think it depends. I think it helps having one. For me, it helped that it just structures my trainings better. And I trust her because she's very experienced. And she adjust them based on my needs. So she knows my schedule, she knows that I'm working, she knows I have 2 kids. So I discussed with her a bit at the beginning about this, and I said that I don't have time to train like an insane amount of hours each day, or to do 5 7 days of 7. And I like that she adjust my training based on my time and based on how I feel, because at the end of each week we discuss a bit, and she asked me, "Oh, how did you feel? Any pain? Something's bothering you?" And we adjust them based on how I feel.
So the trainer is a she.
Is a she?
Dragos,
Yes.
Dragos wants to know her name.
It's Denisa Dragomir. And yes, I recommend her. She's awesome.
All right. Really interesting question from Diana. What are you thinking about when you have the feeling that you can't continue running in a race? How do you motivate yourself, your body, your mind to keep going?
That's a good one. So during this race, I didn't have. I think there were 2 times when I felt that I was struggling and it was hard. One of them, I don't know, it was by kilometer 35 or something, that it was very hot. It was one moment in the race when it was like I was feeling that the mud on the path was boiling, and it was very sunny because the altitude was lower, so we were going down, and in that area it was just hot. And I had like 2 kilometers until the checkpoint. I didn't know that for sure at that moment. I knew that it was close, and I had no water. And yeah, and I was thirsty, and I was just I felt that my rhythm is was slowing down. So I said, okay, you have to keep going. And there is one advice that a friend gave me like some years ago. Like, when you're struggling, don't think about how much you have until the finish line or the checkpoint or whatever. Just think about and focus on just putting one feet in front of the other and so on. Just move your feet. So just think about the small step, and you'll get there. And the other hard moment was when I reached 7 kilometers to the finish line. I think it was 70, 76, 75, 6. And from there to the finish line, you have just a dirty road with a small incline. So you're just slowly going uphill. And I was just looking at it, and normally that's a very runnable section, and I know that I can just go very fast on that. And I was just struggling and looking at the pace, and it was like a 6:37 minutes per kilometer, and I was looking at the watch, and I wanted just to take the watch and throw it away. So I felt that I was going too slow, and my muscle were in very much pain. So I was like, how much do I have? And at a certain point from kilometer 5, they had on trees, they had some markings, and they said like, okay, 5 kilometers to the finish line. And then I was like, oh no, from here they're going to have like 5, 4, 3. And each kilometer, it was painful. So from the last 5 kilometers, and I wish they didn't have those on the trees. And I was just thinking, if now it hurts so much, how it will be when I will be here at kilometer 172. But that's another story. So yeah, just move.
Right. Alexandra has a question about calluses. I'm not sure if I know the word. After running so much, how do you deal with sore feet? Any shoe brands that you can recommend?
I don't have calluses, so to answer this, I never had. I had at some point blisters, but I for several years I have some great socks, and I don't know if it's using that or it's just that I don't do blisters. I never had blisters on ultras or even now when I don't know, my feet were wet almost the whole race, almost 10 hours. I didn't have any blisters or issues. Yeah, um my soles were a bit sensitive after the race, but just leave them open with no socks, sleep with no socks, and keep them on air as much as possible after, and it's okay. About shoes, I don't recommend a specific brand. I tried several, but I guess in the end it's about what fits you better because we are not all the same. I used to be until recently a big fan of barefoot shoes and zero drop shoes. Apparently, my feet don't like that anymore, and I did some shin splints because of them. And now I switched the brand and I have some Hoka shoes, several, I think I have two models, and my feet seems to be happy with them. So I don't know. I guess it's not a straight answer. It's whatever shoes fits you better. So just test. You cannot say, okay, use these shoes because I'm using them. They might not be good for you.
Yeah. Petra wants to know, how do you train your mind? Uh, do you are you practicing yoga, meditation, or some other kind of?
Actually, no. I don't. I just like being in the nature, in the forest, in the woods a lot. So that is for me some kind of meditation. But I don't do yoga. I If the stretching that I do after the runs can be considered yoga, then yes. But other than that, no.
Okay. Pam 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 pam. I'm since we were talking about shoes and recommendations, Dragos wants to know, what watch are you using during the race?
No, that's actually I'm not. I just like running, but I don't like very much the fuss around the technology and running. So my watch is a pretty old one. I was actually worried that my battery won't last, so I had to be fast in order to have the battery until the finish line. I have a Sunto Ambit 3. It's old, and I'm thinking about changing it for the race in September. But I'm just looking. It's a pretty basic one, so yeah.
If you have question, you can ask more, or you can open your mic and camera and ask directly.
I can see one question here that you did not address about UTMB.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe next year. I saw actually I saw another crazy stuff. I was thinking about Thor, but we'll see about that.
Okay. Paula, can you take the running mindset and apply it to your day-to-day life, to your work life?
Yes, I think it can be applied. And what you can take from here and put in other places of my life, it's like you need to have lots of patience and resilience to be able to do this. And yeah, it can be applied to the
Patience and
day-to-day life.
resilience. And
Yes.
practice, patience and resilience.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if you have questions, some more questions, feel free to take the mic.
Hey.
Hey.
Sorry, I've just joined, but I'm really interested in the topic. I've seen several questions in regards of the injuries, and don't know if you already answered the question. After the last semi-marathon, I had, I believe I broke the knee. And as far as I know, it's one of the common injuries a runner can have. So my question, how is better from your experience so far to treat the knee injuries? Or
I
how is
only
better to
had,
proceed
I only had the one
before, during, and
time.
after?
Yeah, so knee pain, I only had one time. So after running the first marathon, because before that I was just running 3 and 5 kilometers, and I did a 46 with lots of elevation, and I had a ligament on one of my knees that were a bit was a bit tight, and it took, I think, almost a month um, to recover from it. And it was also depressing because I was at the beginning, I didn't know much about it, and I just went. I lived in Bucharest at that time. I just went to a doctor and I told him, okay, my knee hurts. What should I do? And he said, what did you do? And I said, okay, I went on a mountain and ran 46 kilometers. And he looked at me and said, well, don't run. And I was like, okay. I just left from there and I said, okay, but I came here to fix this, not for you to tell me not to run. But fortunately, it was not something bad, so it wasn't something broken or a very bad injury. So it passed almost by itself, and I don't really have knee pains. Sometimes they just, so after these 80 kilometers, yes, my knees and the muscles and everything hurt, but it wasn't something from an injury, so it was just stress from all that time. But what I would recommend is to pay lots of attention to mobility. So just do it before your every run, even if you have like an hour training. Um, it's better to take 5 minutes before and do some mobility exercises to just get your body ready for running. And at the end, just cut from that hour at least 8 minutes to do stretching. And I think, yes, that would be on the long term, it prevents lots of injuries, knees included.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I was thinking about the mobility exercises. Maybe I will record you. I will film you sometime to see uh, how you are doing this.
Maybe we can just go, the
Yeah.
people in Brasov, we can go on short runs when it would be possible during the weekend or mornings. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, Andrei. Florin. Well, Florin, you missed the start of the meeting because she told us how and when she started running. But I remember that it was in 2009, and the motivational factor was a group of friends. But well, other curiosity? Any sport when you were a child? Have you
Not
practiced something?
Not specifically. I grew up in a small village in the countryside with some very nice hills. So not some very impressive mountains, but lots of hills and forests. And my dad worked in the forest, so as a kid I was always going with him, and I liked going with him into the forest. And I was just, I don't know, outside a lot, but
It makes sense now.
I didn't practice something like a specific sport, just running around with other kids.
Yeah, it makes sense now. The fact that you love so much being in the nature. Okay. Did you do some special medical tests before starting running and this kind of ultra and marathons and on?
Yes and no. So I think somewhere in 2015, before my first longer ultra, so it was 100K. I did a VO2 max, but only because I went to a competition, and part of the prize, I don't know, I think I came second position or something like this, and it was a testing for a VO2 max. So 2015 was that. I don't remember the result. I need to search it. I have it somewhere. And other than that, no, I just do like regular checkups, but not especially for running. Like once a year, I like to go and I do some blood work tests and stuff. But I think everybody should do that. It's not.
I have another question. How do you manage the I don't know personal life in regards of the running and especially the time management? Because while running, if you do 10, 20 kilometers, for example, you are preparing for a race, yeah. So you need to do a training for at least 10 or 20 kilometers just to get in shape and so on, and it takes time, yeah. It might be not only 1 hour, you can run for 2 hours or 3 hours and so on. And how does it fit in your usual program?
I think I partially answered this earlier, but I will complete now more. So I think, at least for me, and in order to accommodate it with my schedule, I think the important step is like quality, not quantity. So I focus on short trainings and doing stuff like speed intervals and fartlek, and it's you get more result from having an 1 hour intense training than just having 3 hours of just running lots of kilometers. And the way I like them structures and the way they fit my schedule is like I have two training during the week, usually in the morning, because I wake up early either way. So it's like 1 hour, 1 hour 15, short speed trainings. And then during the weekend, I integrate the longer runs, which can be like 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, 3 hours. It depends.
Can you share with us any program you follow, for example, for a specific marathon? I don't know, or if there is no secret in that.
No, there isn't anything secret. I think this should be, I mean, it's not, it's more of like guidelines.
Yep.
Because, and yes, I can do that because it's not, I mean, the one that I'm following might not be suitable for somebody else, because you should follow the level of fitness and the level of training that you have in this moment and start building from this one. Because if you start doing like starting tomorrow, let's say, just I take you with me on my runs and you try following it, it might be too little or too much. I don't know.
Trust
So
me, I was in that position.
So yeah,
It's
it's
hard.
important to see where you're at, and just start building from that. To incorporate some speed intervals, increase the distance a bit. It depends what you're following. But yes, we can discuss about this on point.
Okay, and I hope I'm not overtaking the discussion, but I haven't seen other questions, so I will continue with my bunch of questions.
Feel free.
I'm a pretty thin person, and I've been thinking if I continue to run, and running exercises, they are usually a great consumption of energy. How can I avoid to stress the body and in the same time eventually even to put some weight more on myself?
I
Because
wouldn't
I thought I can
recommend.
do that only through fitness I can put more, but through running I am getting it down again. So I don't want to lose myself at all, you know. I don't want to be a skinny Senegal guy running for, I don't know. Uh, that's if you
It's
get the
I
point.
understand your question, but it depends what you're training for. So at least for me,
Marathon.
from what I remember before, so before having the kids doing ultras, I had my best results and did the best on marathons and the long ones when I had I was very thin. So now another goal of mine until end of September is to drop some like 7 kilograms. Yes. So yeah, the idea is like when you do distance running, if you are thin, then the risk of having injuries it's very low because the shock it's diminished. So that's very important, especially if you have like steep downhills and technical terrain. But what you can do here. I don't know how thin you are, but I can talk about the body mass index. So I think I had, when I had my best results, I was at 19. So now I'm at 23. So I want to go to that 19 that I had because I was feeling better then and it was easier for me to go uphill and downhill. But what you can do here is like put some muscles because muscles help with running. And especially, I don't mean because when you run, um, you have like strong legs, but another important part, it's your core. So your abs, your arms, your back, because they can be stressed a lot during running. And if you have some muscles there, it would be good for your balance and yeah, you can focus on putting some muscles, and muscles are heavy, so you can gain some weight there.
Is 40 is a good age start for running marathons?
I don't think there any age. I know people that started running, I don't know, when they were 20, and other when they started running when they were 50. So
Never's
Okay.
too late.
yeah.
And never's too early. uh, okay, if there aren't any more questions, I think we can end here. And I really hope that we will see each other next time. Maybe with Florin after his ultra at Brasov Marathon, and learn more about his experience this time. So thank you everybody for being here, for asking your questions, for being curious, for doing well, for exercising every day. Actually, this is a really, 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 really important thing for our lives. And thank you, Paula, for your time, for the way you are explaining the hard things you are doing. You are making them seem really, really easy. but I know they aren't. And yeah, see you next time. And if you have any feedback, please please let it in the chat, or any other recommendations for future topics.
It's we can go as a group at Eco Marathon as well. They have 2 options, and it's very nice area.
Yeah. So yeah, and congratulations, Paula, for all this. Thank you, and have a nice day ahead, and a really nice 3 days weekend. Bye, and
Thank
Bye.
have a sporty
Thank
weekend.
you.
Actually, bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Paula.
Bye.